Hey all, welcome back to SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. I am Kurt Ludington, your resident host and bartender. As you can see, we don't have our normal accessories up here on the bar top to do one of our cocktail videos. Instead, we have a special whiskey episode that we want to share with you all. What I want to do today is share my 5 favorite bourbons that are around the $30 price mark. Now, that could be it's a little above $30, or that could be it's a little below $30, but all 5 bourbons will be around the $30 price mark. Now, keep in mind, like I said before in our other whiskey reviews that we did, I can only give you what I have here in the bar of what I have tasted. So there may be some out there around the $30 range that are fantastic, and if I miss it today, and if I don't mention one that you know is a fantastic bourbon for around $30, please let me know in the comments. That would be fantastic. If you're new to the show, we would appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button. Once you've done that, you can hit the notification bell, and hey, that way you won't miss a single episode of the show. All right, what I want to get started with is 2 special mention bourbons. Now, the reason these are special mention is just because of their exclusivity. They're very hard to find depending on the area that you live in. The very first special mention bourbon for around $30 is Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare in my area is going to be $32 to $35, somewhere in that general range. But Eagle Rare is a fantastic bourbon for that price range. It's a Buffalo Trace release. It's highly sought after, and for good reason. It's excellent. This particular bourbon is a 10-year bourbon. You can get a 10-year bourbon for around $30-some is a fantastic buy in of itself. But the flavors, you're going to get some nice dark cherry notes in there, some chocolate, and a little bit of vanilla and caramel, but a lot of the dark fruits in there too, which is just a fantastic, fantastic bottle to have. So it doesn't make my official top 5 just because it's hard to find. But if you ever see the Buffalo Trace release Eagle Rare, pick it up. Well worth it. My very next special mention bourbon is Henry McKenna 10-year bottled and bond. I have to admit, this is my absolute favorite bottle for around $30-some. This particular bottle I picked up for $34, and when I picked this one up, as you can see, it's almost empty. I have another one as a backup. This particular bottle is a single barrel offering, and even right on the label, it gives you the barrel number, and it also gives you the barrel date, which on this particular bottle, this whiskey was barreled in 8/9 of 08. Single barrel, 10-year bourbon. You just cannot get any better than that for $30-some. This particular bourbon is just beautiful butterscotch on the nose. I mean, just some real quintessential butterscotch, caramel, toffee. I mean, it is just a wonderful, wonderful pour for $34. If you ever see Henry McKenna single barrel bottled in bond, make sure you pick it up. It's a wonderful buy. However, again, it doesn't make my top 10, but we'll leave those 2 as the special mention bottles. Okay, let's move on to my 5 favorite bourbons for around $30. All of these bottles, I believe that you can find fairly easily. I am not going to give you these bottles in any kind of order, so I'm not giving you it from my worst to favorite. All these 5 are very, very good, and I really don't have a top choice out of these 5. So in no particular order, the very first bottle I want to show you is Cooper's Craft. This particular Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve. This particular bottle is a Brown-Forman release. I want to read to you a little bit what's on the label. Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve takes its very distinctive flavor from barrels that have post-char chiseled interiors. This deepens the whiskey's wood exposure, creating a robust taste profile. Now, this Brown-Forman release, this Cooper's Craft, it was named in homage of the Coopers that actually create the barrels for whiskey storage. And in these particular barrels that the Cooper's Craft is stored in is not only charred, but also chiseled. So this is a very spicy and bold type of a bourbon. They're not lying on the label when it says it's a very robust profile, because it is. However, it's a very forward bourbon, but it's also very, very good. You get some really, really great oak and barrel char out of it, and I don't want to make that sound harsh because it's really not. It's very well done, but you do get some oak and barrel char, but you also get some vanilla sweetness in that. And I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but you can also get some kind of like, you know, when you have a little bit of those brownies that have a little bit of a burnt edge to the brownie, you get a little bit of that flavor in here as well. But it's a very nice, it's a very robust flavor, 100 proof bourbon, Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve. If you see it, it's around $30 range. Pick it up. It's fantastic. The very next bourbon I selected to be on the list is Maker's Mark 46. Maker's Mark is a wheated bourbon, as we all know. And this particular Maker's Mark 46, it's actually just the original Maker's Mark bourbon. And then they shoved 10 seared French oak staves in another barrel and finished it off for a few more months after that. So it's just regular Maker's Mark finished off in a barrel with 10 seared French oak staves. Now, with that additional flavoring on the finish side of it, it really creates a lot of nice flavors in this particular bourbon. This particular bourbon is a 94 proof. It's around $30. It has some baking spice, a little bit of oak, but it does have a very creamy vanilla and a little bit of caramel to it. It's just an excellent, excellent tasting bourbon for around $30. I really love this Maker's Mark 46. Exceptional. Okay, moving forward. The very next offering that I have for you, Knob Creek 9-year. This Knob Creek 9-year is a Jim Beam release. It goes at 100 proof. And I just don't know how you can go wrong. This particular Knob Creek is around $35. It might creep up to like $32 to $35. But I just don't know how you can go wrong for even $35 when you're getting a 9-year bourbon. That's the official age statement of this particular bourbon. So you know you're going to get a 9-year bourbon for around $35. And Knob Creek, I like most all of the Knob Creek releases, to be quite honest with you. It has a little bit of a maple, oak, some vanilla, a little bit of char in there too, but I would say for me it's mostly the maple and the vanilla that I can get out of this bottle. And this particular bottle, if I enjoy a pour of this, I usually always pour it over a block of ice. Most Knob Creek I do because they tend to be just a bit on the spicy side, which there's nothing wrong with that. If you enjoy it neat, then you enjoy it the way you like it. Me personally, I would pour this over a block of ice, and this is an extremely enjoyable pour for 35 bucks, a 9-year bourbon. It's fantastic. Moving on, the next one I want to show you is Larceny. Larceny is a Heaven Hill release, and it's a 92 proof. Larceny is another wheated bourbon. This particular bottle, it's a little bit more aggressive, I think, just a bit aggressive on the flavors, but they're done very well. You got some caramel and a touch of honey in there too. But what's really kind of fantastic on this particular bottle is the nose. The nose, you can pick up some banana bread and nuts, things of that nature, but it's also got, like I said, on the flavor profile, it's got some caramel and some honey to it. It's just a very, very nice pour for 30 bucks, Larceny. Excellent, excellent buy. Last but not least, I don't know, this may be my favorite, it may not be. Like I said, it's hard for me to say out of these 5 which is really, truly my favorite. Of course, I told you, this Henry McKenna 10-year is my absolute bomb. It's the absolute favorite of mine, if you can find it, and that's why it was a special mention. So I guess I should say that is my absolute favorite up here on the bar top today. But the Elijah Craig small batch, 94 proof, coming out of Heaven Hill. I mean, this Elijah Craig, it's just so hard to go wrong with anything that Elijah Craig releases. I mean, this for me has some caramel in it, a little bit of herbal notes, but also a little bit of char and a little bit of smoke. But it's just an extremely well-rounded bourbon. I mean, it's just, and this is probably, well, you picked it up. How much was this today when you picked it up?
It was on sale. I believe it was $29.99.
$29.99 on sale today. So around 30 bucks if you're very lucky. Sometimes you can catch in different places for a little bit less than 30 bucks too. I've been able to find things on sale around $25 to $27 if you're lucky. So Elijah Craig small batch, 94 proof. To be honest with you, you can tell this is a new bottle, hasn't been opened because I had my wife buy it today when she went to Myers. The reason being is because my Elijah Craig small batch is in our decanter. Our decanter here at the bar, my daughters gave me this for Christmas. It's in the bowl. And as you can see, you can pour the bourbon from the butt of the bowl. You can't get no better than that. Elijah Craig. You can just see the faces my wife's giving me at the moment. Fantastic. I mean, that is a fantastic, fantastic buy. You can't beat it. Elijah Craig small batch. All right, just to review real quick, my 5 favorite bourbons for around $30. Elijah Craig, Larceny, Knob Creek 9-year, Maker's Mark 46, Cooper's Craft, Barrel Reserve. I know this might be a little new for you. I'm hoping it's in all of your areas. It's all over my area right now. If you haven't tried it, please pick it up. You will not be disappointed. My 2 special mentions, my absolute flavor bomb, McKenna. Henry McKenna 10-year single barrel. Beautiful, beautiful bottle in the Eagle Rare from Buffalo Trace.
Now, where did you get those 2? You said those are rare around here.
Actually, I will find the Henry McKenna and the Eagle Rare just every once in a while. It'll come around. And as you know, Trenton looks for bourbons. My brother Kent looks for bourbons. So we all look out for each other. So when we find these bottles around, we make sure that we let each other know so that we can run out and get some. Eagle Rare you can find in my area a little bit more than the Henry McKenna. Honestly, this Henry McKenna I'll see maybe 2 to 3 times a year in our area here. So other places I'm not quite sure, but this one is a lot harder to find. And luckily, we have some very honorable liquor store owners that price these correctly. I know in your areas you might have some people that just overprice these types of bourbons because they're hard to find, and I hate that. I despise that. So in my area, we got one particular liquor store owner here that owns 3 or 4 around our 15-20 mile radius, and he always prices things very, very aggressively and reasonably and very fair, to say that at least. So I got this from him for $34, and this one's around $30-some as well. That concludes our bourbon show for today, and we certainly hope you liked it. If you have any comments, please leave them below. I'd love to read them because that's how we learn more. That's how I learn, is trying to gain from knowledge that everybody has. And as I always say, spirits are most enjoyed when you share it with friends and family. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. And then we'll see you next time right down here with me in the good old basement bourbon bar. See ya.